Hi guys, and welcome to Module 2, Create a Cryptocurrency. So no worries, you can see that we are still in Module 1 right here, but that's because, as you understood, we're going to use this blockchain created in Module 1 to build our cryptocurrency. Indeed, our cryptocurrency will be based on the blockchain technology, as it is the case for most cryptocurrencies. And so we're going to take this blockchain, we're going to develop it, we're going to decentralize it, and this will create our cryptocurrency, the altcoin. So let's create the altcoin, and therefore the first thing that we're going to do now is simply create a new file. So we're going to go at the top here, you click on File, you click here on New File, and there we go. We're going to remove this, and we're going to save it in Module 2. So here, let's go to our desktop or wherever you created this blockchain A to Z folder. Let's go inside this folder and let's now go to Module 2, create a cryptocurrency. And that's where you want to save your file that we're going to call altcoin.py. So feel free to call this cryptocurrency by any other name. Altcoin is of course because my name is Adelin and I thought it was funny to call it the altcoin. But if your name is Pete, for example, you can call it the Pete coin. All right, so whatever you choose, if you're ready, let's click on Save. And there we go. We have our new file in our new working directory folder, which is this Module 2 Create a Cryptocurrency folder, which now contains the altcoin Python file. Perfect. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take the whole blockchain implementation of Module 1. We're going to select the whole code, copy it, and go back to our file to paste it. And there we go. That's from this point that we're going to develop it and transform it into a cryptocurrency. So now we no longer need this blockchain.py file. We can save this file again, and there we go. We are ready to start building the altcoin. All right, so first of all, to be installed, what do we need? Do we need Flask and Postman? Yes, of course, but we need an additional library, which is the request with an S library. And more specifically, the following version, that is 2.18.4. All right, and I'm going to write to you the pip installation. You just need to type in a terminal or in the Anaconda prompt for those of you who are on Windows, pip install, and then this requests equals 2.18.4. So I'm copying this and I'm pasting that right here. And so now let's install this. So I'm just copying the whole command line. Let's open a terminal. So on Mac, you can press Command plus Space to get this shortcut, type terminal, and then press Enter to open the terminal. And for those of you who are on Windows, I remind that you can find your terminal by clicking on the Windows button here, then find in the list of programs Anaconda, and then inside Anaconda you find the Anaconda prompt. And the Anaconda prompt is the equivalent to this terminal that I just opened. And for those of you who are on Linux, I'm sure you know how to open a terminal. It should be right here on the left, as it is one of the main features of Linux. All right, so there we go inside the terminal or the Anaconda prompt. Let's paste the request pip installation. So that will directly install the request library inside the Anaconda root environment. That's what pip is for. So let's press Enter, and there we go. As you can see, everything is already satisfied for me. That's because, of course, I installed it before, but if that's not the case, no worries. The installation will be smooth and easy. All right, so now we're going to close this. We're going to close the terminal or Anaconda prompt, and there we go. We are ready to develop the implementation of the altcoin. But first, let's give another title. We're now in Module 2, and we're not creating, well, we are creating a blockchain, but more specifically, we are creating a cryptocurrency. All right, much better. So all good with the title, all good with the libraries to install in the terminal. And now what about the libraries we need to import? Well, again, there is some extra stuff to import. So first of all, we have to import datetime because of course we will get the exact time when a block is mined. So we have to keep this. We will of course keep hashlib because of course we will be using some cryptographic hash functions again, and it will be still the SHA-256 cryptographic hash function. We will of course use JSON again, because especially now we're going to create the transactions which will be in the JSON format. And then from Flask, well, of course, we're going to use Flask again to create some web apps, because we will still be in our user-friendly interface Postman, but this time on a decentralized network with several servers, that is several nodes all around the world. So you're going to see it's going to be quite something. However, from this Flask library, we're not only going to import the Flask class and JSONify, but also a third one, which is the request module. And that's because we will be connecting some nodes in our decentralized blockchain network. And to connect these nodes, we will be using the getJSON function, and this function will be taken from this request module. So that's especially because of these nodes that we're adding into our decentralized blockchain that we need this request module. All right, and now we're all good with all the Flask classes and modules. Then what we'll need is to import what we just installed in the terminal, which is the request library. So we'll import request right now. And by the way, this request library will be just needed in one line of code in this whole implementation, and that will just be used to catch the right nodes when we check that all the nodes in the decentralized blockchain have indeed the same chain. That will be, you'll see, the consensus we'll need to apply. We'll see that in much more detail, but basically that's where we'll use the request library. And finally, there are two last libraries we need to import. These are the UUID4 and the URL parse functions that we respectively need to create an address for each node in the network and to parse the URL of each of these nodes. So let's not say too much about this now. This is not the time. Don't worry, I'll explain in great detail what these will be used for when we use them. But for now, let's just import them. So the first one we need to import is UUID4, and we import it from the UUID library. So from this UUID library, we import the UUID4 function. That's the first one. And then the second one, as we said, is the URL parse function, and we import this function from the URL lib.parse module. URL lib.parse, and so from this module we import this URL parse function. And there we go. We now have everything we need to implement our cryptocurrency. This will be an implementation in three parts. Part one, building a blockchain, but mostly we will develop what needs to be developed in this part one to create a cryptocurrency. Then part two, we will still mine some new blocks to welcome some new transactions of these cryptocurrencies between several persons. Actually, it can be some transactions between you and me. And finally, there is going to be a part three, which will be totally new compared to what we did before. And that will be, of course, part three, decentralizing our blockchain. All right, so it's really important that you see the structure of our implementation. It's an implementation in three parts. Part one, building the cryptocurrency based on the blockchain, of course. Then part two, mining our blockchain to be able to accept and mostly register some new transactions of altcoins, the cryptocurrency. And eventually, part three, decentralizing our blockchain, inside which we will create a decentralized network of several nodes, and each one of you will be able to mine some blocks on any of these nodes. So it's going to be pretty exciting. As I told you, we're taking things at the next level now. So if you're ready, let's start from the next tutorial. Until then, enjoy blockchains.